and I know he electrified freedom-loving Americans with his recent filibuster. The Honorable Rand Paul is the junior United States Senator for Kentucky. Elected in 2010, he has proven to be an outspoken champion for constitutional liberties and fiscal responsibility. He is obviously a warrior against government overreach. Without further ado, please welcome Rand Paul.
I was told I got 10 measly minutes. But just in case, I bought 13 hours worth of information. I also came with a message for the President, a message that is loud and clear, a message that doesn't mince words. Well, that's not exactly what I was thinking. However, I think he may have distilled my 13-hour speech into 3 words. The message for the President is that no one person gets to decide the law. No one person gets to decide your guilt or innocence. Lincoln put it well when he wrote, "Nearly all men can stand adversity, but if you want to test a man, give him power." President Obama, who seemed once upon a time to respect civil liberties, has become the president who signed a law allowing for indefinite detention of an American citizen. Indeed, a law that allows an American citizen to be sent to Guantanamo Bay without a trial. Now, President Obama defends his signing of this bill by stating that he has no intention of detaining an American citizen without a trial. Likewise, he defended possible targeted drone strikes on Americans by indicating that he had no intention of doing so. Well, my 13-hour filibuster was a message to the President. Good intentions are not enough. The presidential oath of office states, "I will protect, preserve, and defend the Constitution." It doesn't say, well, I intend to when it's convenient. Mr. President, good intentions are not enough. We want to know, will you or won't you defend the Constitution? Eisenhower wrote, "How far can you go without destroying from within what you are trying to defend from without?" If we destroy our enemy but lose what defines our freedom in the process, have we really won? If we allow one man to charge Americans as enemy combatants and indefinitely detain or drone them, then what exactly is it that our brave young men and women are fighting for? Montesquieu wrote that there can be no liberty if you combine the executive and the legislative branches. Likewise, there can be no justice if you combine the executive and the judicial branch. We separated arrest from accusation and trial and verdict for a reason. When Lewis Carroll's White Queen shouts, "Sentence first, verdict afterwards," the reader's response is supposed to be, "But that would be absurd." In our country, the police can arrest, but only peers can convict. Our Bill of Rights like no other country. Our Bill of Rights is what defines us. It's what makes us exceptional. To those who would dismiss this debate as frivolous, I say, Tell that to the heroic young men and women who sacrificed their limbs and lives. Tell that to the 6,000 parents of kids who died as American soldiers in Iraq and Afghanistan. Tell them the Bill of Rights is no big deal. Tell it to Sergeant J.D. Williams, who's one of my neighbors. He lives in Auburn, Kentucky, a few miles from me. He sacrificed himself to save his fellow soldiers. Tell J.D., who lost both legs and an arm, tell him his sacrifice was great, but that we had to suspend the Bill of Rights he fought for. I don't think so. The filibuster was about drones, but also about much more. Do we have a Bill of Rights? Do we have a Constitution? And will we defend it? In his farewell speech in 1989, Reagan said, "As government expands, liberty contracts." He was right. Government cannot give us our liberty. Our rights come from our Creator. But as government grows, liberty becomes marginalized. The collective takes precedent over the individual. Freedom shrinks. And our government today is larger than it has ever been in our history. Everything that America has been, everything we ever wished to be, is now threatened by the notion that you can have something for nothing, that you can have your cake and eat it too, that you can spend $1 trillion every year that you don't have. The president seems to think that we can keep adding to a $16 trillion debt. The president seems to think that the country can continue to borrow $50,000 a second. The president just believes we just need to squeeze more money out of those who are working. He's got it exactly backwards. I'm here to tell you that what we need to do is keep more money in the pockets of those who earned it. Look at how ridiculous Washington politicians have behaved over this sequester. The president did a big, oh, woe is me, over $1 trillion sequester that he endorsed and he signed into law. Some Republicans joined him. But the sequester didn't even cut any spending. It just slows the rate of growth of government. Even with the sequester, the federal government will grow over $7 trillion over the next decade. Only in Washington can a $7 trillion increase in spending be called a cut. Now the president's trying to step up. He's trying to do his fair share. After the sequester was announced, he said he's going to stop the White House tours for school children. They had to do this because these cuts were imposed by the sequester. But meanwhile, within a few days, the president finds an extra $250 million to send to Egypt. You know, the country where mobs attacked our embassy, burned our flag, and chanted death to America. He found an extra $250 million to reward them. You know, the country whose president recently stood by his spiritual leader who called for death to Israel and all who support her. I say not one penny more to countries that are burning our flag.